All right, we'll go ahead and begin. Go ahead, Troy.
Thanks, Jamie. I appreciate it. And thanks for those that could join us tonight just to go over the pavement maintenance that we're going to be doing in the Thompson River Ranch area. We do have some maps a little bit later in the presentation that we're going to show you. I do have with me Caleb Fisk. He's with Andale. That is the contractor that's going to be doing the actual pavement preservation for us in your neighborhood. So he's going to go through here in just a minute a quick presentation of what this treatment is and what it does for the road. I just want to say that there are different types of pavement preservations that we do depending on the condition of the roadway and depending on the age of the road. Out of all of them, this is probably the least intrusive to the neighborhoods and to the residents. So I think Thompson River Ranch is lucky to have some pretty good roads out there, and we want to make sure that we keep those roads maintained and keep them rejuvenated so that they don't start to dry out on us, and that's where you start seeing road failures. So this is a really great product. And again, it's the least intrusive for the residents in the area. There will be a no parking or driving requirement as they're working on your street for about a 24-hour period. It's actually a little bit less than that, but it's pretty close to 24 hours. You won't be able to park or drive on your road. So we can answer any questions that you might have on that. I will say there's going to be a lot more communication on this. You'll see signs going up in your neighborhood as we get closer. Right now, we're targeting sometime in August. It looks like it might be somewhere between maybe the second week of August to the third week of August. We're still working on those dates. That's all weather permitting. But there'll be a lot more communication that comes out, communication directly in the neighborhoods. And when we're getting real close, you're going to see signs posted at the entrance of your neighborhoods. When you drive in, you'll see that it's coming. And we do have some websites we're going to show you at the end of the presentation that you'll be able to log into. You can log into them now, and you'll be able to see the updates as we're moving forward as well. So with that, again, I'm gonna turn it over to Caleb and let him go through this. But first, I do want to say that our council is very supportive of us maintaining our roads, and we spend a lot of money each year to maintain our roadways, and we're proud of that, and we're happy to have the council support on the maintenance and upkeep of our roads. So with that, Caleb, I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to you.
Okay, great. Well, thanks for the warm introduction, Troy and Jamie, and the residents of Johnstown. Thank you for your time here while we go through this, and hopefully I can put you at ease of what the process is and the product that the city of Johnstown has selected. To give you just a short background, what we'll be doing is we really want to keep the good roads that are good in great condition, so the city doesn't have as much maintenance cost associated to those roads over the life of that road, especially there in Thompson River Ranch. So like Troy mentioned, my name's Caleb Fisk. I grew up in the Colorado area. My family owns Fisk Electric, which is based there in Johnstown. So I'm very familiar with your area. I'm excited to be invited back. Johnstown did a section last year just to the east of your neighborhood, right there in the neighborhood kind of across from the school that was being built. So you can kind of see what that product looks like. And I don't know if you remember us in there last year. But basically what we'll do is a week in advance, you're going to see text boards come up that talk about a road project coming in, like Troy mentioned. And then 3 days in advance, our team will go door to door, handing out flyers to all the residents so you know what to expect. And there'll be a little Q&A question on the bottom of that flyer as well. But it will have the maps on the backhand side, which you'll see here in a couple of slides that really talk about it. But can we go to the next slide, please, Jamie? So HA5, it's a pavement preservation product that's been in the industry for over 20 years. Troy was able to actually use it with the municipality that he managed before. They had great results there. So that's nice that you have a public works director that has knowledge of this product. This has been in the Colorado area now for the last 7 years with Lakewood, Greeley, Grand Junction, Boulder. A lot of agencies adopting this because you only have so many tools in the toolbox and their life expectancy is so long. So the big question for public works directors and engineers is, what can we do with the limited budget we have to really extend the roads to get the most life out of them? And so it really impacts that ROI. And luckily, we have a product that has been proven time and time again in the Colorado region as a very great tool in the toolbox. And then if we could go to the next slide, Jamie, please. So what we want to do with HA5 is really, we want to extend the pavement life. We want to reduce any cracking that's associated with not being protected. And with HA5, there is no loose aggregate or grainy residue post-installation. I'm sure we've all seen the chip seals that go down and you have the rock that ravels and collects on the side of the road, or you've seen the slurry seals that rock and aggregate collect on the side too. Even though we do have to leave the roads closed overnight, you won't have any grainy residue or aggregate post installation. Like I just mentioned, you'll be left with a new black surface that will stay black for 5 to 7 years or longer, depending on the condition of that asphalt. And the city has done a great job in Johnstown, selecting the right candidates for this product, because so many times in the industry we see products fail because the contractor put it on the wrong road. So, thank you, Johnstown, for, giving us the right roads and making sure you're set up for success, and HA5 is as well. The next slide, please, Jamie. So some of the benefits of good roads is it can increase property values, curb appeal. And we have case studies of this, like I mentioned, going back 20 years now. So next slide, please. So there's 2 maps here, and I don't know who's all on and what side of the neighborhood you live on. But as you can see, this is really where it affects you. We're not doing, as you can notice, very big sections. We try to mitigate the sections so we're not affecting 100 homes at once. And each section, you'll have a small distance to walk. So typically the process is when we show up, like I mentioned, everybody will be notified 72 hours in advance. And then the day of, we'll have traffic control that will come in and do soft closures on the road. We want to make sure that everybody's allowed to get to work and school in the morning. And then we'll shut down the roads typically about 8:30 to 9 a.m. And then we'll start laying our product. Now, the reason for the overnight closure is there's 2 steps to this product. We need to put 1 coat down, and then we'll put the 2nd coat down. And after that, because of the viscosity of this material and the makeup, we really need to let it cure and bake out. It's a really finicky product if not everything is done right. It's kind of like grandma's cake. She makes it just right. If my wife tries to make my grandma's cake, it never comes out the same. So we really, with HA5, we've learned over the years, it takes a lot of different elements to make this successful. And that's why we try to break it down into smaller sections. And we will communicate with the school, with the trash, with the post surface, fire department, all of those entities that would normally affect your life, FedEx, UPS, Amazon. I know those are kind of hard, but 9 times out of 10, everybody always gets their mail delivered. We know nowadays a lot of people work from home, so that mail could be very important. So we want to make sure we cover all of our bases. And so, you know, you as the resident and the taxpayer feel at ease with what we're doing here. And I think last year we had great success. I would let Troy or Jamie talk to that as far as the residents' perception or your neighbor's perception. But that's kind of it. And the map, when you get it, will actually on the right-hand corner have that legend with exact days and dates. Here's the second map. Thank you, Jamie. That we'll be doing. So if you live in that neighborhood, you know, you can kind of see how that's broken up as well. So I know, you know, normally people go in and out the same way, day in and day out. So if you could just be patient with us, the whole project, I believe, is 7 days, you know, so we'll be in and out very fast. If there's anything that is needed from special needs to handicap to, you know, any peculiar situation. We actually had a lady in Lakewood that was allergic to the sun. So we had to pick her up, and we took her to her garage or to her work, where she went into a parking garage, and then we picked her up at the end of the day. So I know road construction is never glorious and we never get praised for it, but we want to make sure you as the resident feel at ease with this. So if there's anything we can do to assist you or help you, that's what we're here to do. And my crews are very trained and professional, so I hope they live up to the expectation that I'm set for them right now. If we could go, and then I'm sorry, to go back to the closure. So the reason is, you know, because of that viscosity, the roads will be closed overnight. So if you're looking at a section here, say for instance, the red sections, those would be closed the first day, close them down at 8:30. The following morning, they will all be open between the hours of 5:30 and 6:30 a.m. So that way, when you wake up, you could walk to your car and, you know, pull up to your house, grab your things, and then go off to work or have the day off. We will work on Saturdays as well, but we'll try to, you know, be in and out. And typically there is no odor to this. And we're out of your neighborhood typically in the evenings between 3:30 and 4:30 in the afternoon. So we won't have a lot of noise there when you're coming home from work. And, you know, you're more than welcome to have a block party since the road's actually shut down. So the next slide, maybe, Jamie. Please, thank you. So here's kind of we'll open it up to questions and answers right now. But I do want to point out 2 things on the bottom of this slide that I think are going to be very crucial for you and your neighbors is the johnstown.colorado.gov website. We will have all the maps posted on our website, which is HA5info.com, right below that. There's a short YouTube video kind of walking you through the process like I just mentioned, but then you'll have your maps so you can zoom in on them on your phone. And then I would also encourage everybody, when they receive this flyer, we have a way to text you if you register for it if there's weather delays. So if there's a weather delay on, say, the first day that was red, that day would actually get moved to the end of the project because everybody's notified in advance. But what we would do is send out a text message at 6:30 in the morning, you know, saying, due to weather today, your section is now rescheduled for this day. That way you're not really just wondering, hey, what's going on? I don't see any guys out there working, anybody cleaning the road. So it's just another form of communication that we at Andel have found to be very effective in making sure you're at ease with our process.
All right, great.
Now, Jamie, thank you.
Thank you, Caleb. I was just going to dive into questions here. We do have 4 that were submitted prior to tonight through our online option. And I'm going to ask those 4. And then once we're done with those 4 questions, I'm going to go ahead and make sure that everybody that's on this call right now can unmute, and maybe in some sort of pre-designed order, we can ask any questions. Just go ahead and unmute yourself. There's few enough on here that I don't think it would be too crazy to do that. So the first pre-submitted question that we have is, last year, one of the neighborhoods had door-to-door notifications. What does that look like, and when would those happen?
So great question. Thanks for submitting that. Yes, so we will, like last year, we will go door to door 72 hours in advance to any work starting on that particular street and hang the same door flyers as we did last year. And on the back side of that door flyer will be the maps that were on this presentation. And one thing that's, oh, sorry about that. One thing that's critical is if you do have questions, on the bottom of that flyer, I'll have my superintendent who will be on location at all times on that project. His phone number will be there, plus a lady by the name of Amy Long that does all the phasing and handles calls as well. So you'll have 2 points of contact, so we can answer your questions very rapidly.
The second question is related to any work that needs to be done prior to the HA5 application. Would there be pothole filling or evening of that road if there were divots, or does the HA5 work to fill that before it's laid?
So HA5 is a very thin material. Basically, what we want to do is protect what's there. It will not fix any deficiencies in the road. At this point, my advisor was not able to make this call. He is,
Caleb,
his
I
name's
can
Ted.
actually, yeah, I can actually take that real quick as well. We've had crews out there. You've probably seen the crews out there that were doing a lot of crack sealing in the Thompson River Ranch neighborhood. So we do like to get the cracks filled. The town does. So we send our own crews out there to fix those cracks and fill them in. Because like Caleb said, that the HA5 product is just a thin bonding type of material. So we want to make sure the cracks are all filled. And we'll, it's early July now, so we'll take another pass through that neighborhood probably towards the end of July and just make sure that we didn't miss anything, and the road will be ready prior to Annandale coming out to do this treatment.
All right, thank you. There's 2 more here. And I know that Caleb, you did mention the mail services and making sure that buses and cars can get in and out. And you might have briefly mentioned garbage and recycling, but this question is specifically asking, what is the option for garbage and recycling if this is to occur over 7 days that include 1 Monday or 2 Mondays? Troy, I know being with the town, maybe you have a more specific take on this.
Yeah, I know that we will assist people in getting the trash. If it's on a trash day and you put your trash out front, then the town staff will be assisting to get that to the end of the roadway to make sure that the trash gets picked up on the trash days. And we do make sure that the addresses, because some people are very particular about their trash cans, and we understand that. So we do make sure that the trash cans are marked so that the right trash cans go back to the right house.
Awesome, thank you. And the last one I have here, and it might be a little bit of a repeat, but I'll ask it anyway just because it was submitted. Is there a date that residents can expect to know specifically when that work might start? Or do we kind of just ask them to keep looking out, and the town and those message boards will really be that indicator that those dates are maybe more solidified?
I think by the last week of July, I will really know when those start dates will be. And I like you referenced, Jamie, I think one of the critical things is to look for those text message boards that will be going up, because those will be placed roughly a week in advance. And once that goes, we'll post the information at ha5info.com with the exact dates.
All right, great. So I'm going to go ahead for those that are remaining on the call. I just have given you the opportunity to unmute yourself. It looks like Jeremiah or whomever is on Jeremiah's iPhone has their hand up. I'm going to prompt you to unmute and then you can go ahead and ask your question.
Yeah, thank you. I know you said this was a very finicky product and it needs to be installed right, and that's why you're going through small sections at a time. Do you have any certifications from the manufacturer of your HA5 product to present to us as a residents of Johnstown and Thompson River Ranch, or do you just have the experience?
No, I have the certification as well. I've been doing this for 9 years now with the company, and I have the certification. I've done 600,000 square yard projects, and Johnstown is roughly 70,000 square yards. So, and I can provide anybody the MSDS, the specification sheet, any material or documentation like you would like to see.
And Caleb, this is a proprietary material right now that's only being presented by Andale, isn't that correct?
That is correct. Yes, sir. So, Jeremy, one thing that the supplier did when they set this up is so many times in the construction industry, there's failures, right? And what they didn't want to happen is have an argument. Well, you know, it's the product fault or the supplier's fault. So that's why they set it up where we're the only licensed contractor in the state of Colorado that can apply this product. And that way it keeps all of those questions at bay of, you know, blames.
Oh, that sounds great. That sounds great. So where I'm at, we do have a lot of loose aggregate and sunken holes, sunken spots, soils that have settled around manhole covers, the cast iron covers. Is there any plan to actually get rid of the loose aggregate around here and fill in those spots, or are you really just relying on somebody else to do it? I guess in the second part of that question, if there are loose aggregates and we put this HA5 product down, are those loose aggregates now bonded back to the original asphalt, or are you just relying on the strength of your product to hold them in place?
Jeremy, so what we'll do, cleaning is the biggest thing with any products from any product. It's not going to bond if there's aggregate, debris, dirt, clay on that road. So we take a lot of time in cleaning the roads and cleaning the curb and gutters. Now, as far as isolated areas that have settled, which I saw in last year's area, and I know, you know, the city went in and fixed some of those, but if you have a particular address, Ted's going to be there up in that area next week and the following week. I could definitely have him look at it, you know, and give you a better answer on how it will perform there. But I know we'll clean all of that aggregate off and it will bond, but it's not going to fix the sediment from the base.
So if Ted decides or Johnstown decides to fill in the area quickly around the settled manhole covers with cold pack, would the HA5 work across the asphalt to the cold pack?
Yes. Yeah. And last year, the city, I don't think did any cold pack. I think they actually did quite a few, you know, cuts and remove and replace those isolated areas.
Yeah, Jeremy, if you want to email me, I can give you my email address. Then I'll make sure the street superintendent goes out there and takes a look at that area and see what we need to do prior to them getting there. Like I said, we're going to make another run in the neighborhood, but I don't want to miss it when we've already got somebody that can tell me right where a location is. So my email is real simple. It's just T white, like the color, at johnstown.colorado.gov.
Sorry about the delay in that. I was trying to write that down. T White, gotcha. I don't know if there's anybody else that's got their hands up. You could circle back to me, but
Yeah, there are a couple. So if you don't mind, I might grab those and then we come back up to you, Jeremiah, if that's okay.
sounds great.
All right, awesome, thank you. Our next question is going to come in from Robin. You should be able to unmute yourself, Robin.
All right, can you hear me?
Yes.
Wonderful. Thank you, Caleb and our town members for organizing this and being here. I have a question about the environmental and human and health impacts and pests and things like this. So my guess is we're staying off of the material for 24 hours while it is drying, and that perhaps then it becomes inert. But I bet Caleb and some of you can tell me about that. Is it going to be safe for pets to walk on and people? And maybe you considered this in comparing different solvents or ways to preserve that road. Can you talk to me a little bit about that, please?
Yes, absolutely. So we've actually ourselves, we haven't, but the supplier of this, they put it up in the Port of Portland, up in Oregon, and it was such a, and just like Colorado, we're worried about the system. We don't want to make sure it doesn't get in our drainage or our inlets or any of that. So they found no environmental impact to it. Pets and everybody is safe to walk on it. Actually, as soon as it dries, you'll notice that it will look wet. And once the product dries, it's not going to track on to your pet's paws and into your driveway or your house or any of that. So I to this day haven't had any issues with that. So hopefully that answers your question.
Yes, thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, our next question is from Councilwoman Vanessa Dominguez. You should be able to unmute yourself, Councilwoman, if you want to go ahead and ask your question.
Hi, I just wanted to thank everybody for the call. We live in Thompson River Ranch, and so we're looking forward to this happening. And if there's anything I can do to help y'all, feel free to reach out to me.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for being on this call. All right, that was all the questions that I'm seeing in terms of hands raised. So Jeremiah, if you had another couple questions, we do have a little bit of time left. And then if there's any more questions after that, please feel free to email communications@johnstown.colorado.gov or email twhite@johnstown.colorado.gov. And we can make sure that any and all questions can get cleaned up after, and we can get you the information you're looking for. But Jeremiah, we're going to circle back up to you.
Yeah, how long is the cure time exactly? I know you're trying to make windows for us to get in and out, but I guess it circles back to that pet question and foot traffic question, but mainly vehicles. I guess here's my point. If you're gonna close down the road, can I park in my driveway at night and wait for you to open up the road at 6:30 or whatever you say?
Yeah, absolutely. But once I shut it down, for instance, if you remember the map, say the red section or whatever color, we'll shut down that section at 8:30 in the morning. But that section cannot be opened up till the following morning between 5:30 and 6:30 a.m. So I just have to keep all traffic off of it while the product is setting up. And it's mainly just because of the weight of vehicles that kinetic energy can disturb it, being that there's two coats going down. So that's the reason kind of for the, but you're more than welcome to keep your vehicle parked in your driveway. It just won't be able to exit that day. I know crime and vehicle vandalism is always a topic of concern when you're not being able to park your vehicle right next to your house. But like I say, to this point, we have not had any instances of vandalism for the last 7 years, none that I'm aware of or my guys have let me know about.
Yeah, and on that note, just so that everybody's aware, the police department will be making extra, extra, I don't know what you want to call it, patrols, I guess, in that area during the course of the night, knowing that the cars aren't parked in people's driveways. So they're going to keep an extra close eye on it during this time period and have some more presence in your neighborhood during this preservation thing going on.
That sounds pretty good. That sounds pretty good. Thank you for answering my questions.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely. Thanks for joining us.
Not a problem.
All right, well, it looks like that's all the questions that we have, and we're wrapping up nearly on time here. So again, you have access to all these resources on these two URLs that are in front of you. You also have access to Troy White and Caleb Fisk and Ted No, I believe his last name is, who is our specific point of contact for this project. But I will let Troy kind of say the final words. And before I let him do that, I will just let you all know this is being recorded, and I will be posting this to that johnstown.colorado.gov/HA5 link so that you can revisit it if you would like to, or if you have neighbors that asked but weren't available this evening, they can also revisit this video, maybe learn a little bit more, and I'll make sure that I have our contacts' email addresses on that webpage for you and for them, should you have any more questions or need any more identifying information. So Troy, if you want to lead us out, because we have no more questions.
All right, thanks, Jamie. Thanks, Caleb. I appreciate it. Appreciate all those attending. And anytime you have any questions, either leading up to or during the process, just feel free to reach out either directly to Andale, though you'll have their numbers, or you can reach out directly to me. And just appreciate your attendance, appreciate your patience as we're going through this, but it's a great product. It's actually one of my favorite when we're doing road maintenance. It's the least intrusive. And you guys really have some pretty superior roads when we're done with this. So thank you again, and thanks for joining. I appreciate it. Everybody have a good night and happy 4th of July.
Thank you, Troy.
Thanks, Caleb. Thanks, Jamie.